What if I told you a comic book could change the entire DC universe? This is Kenya News Update today. Coming up, you'll discover how a forgotten universe is being resurrected by a single writer and what this means for the future of superhero stories. Meet Tony Fleecs, the writer behind Stray Dogs and Uncanny Valley. On stage at Emerald City Comic Con, he dropped a bombshell that sent shockwaves through the comic world. Wildstorm is back. I know the Jim Lee-owned universe sold to DC, tried and failed to integrate for decades. New 52? Failed. Rebirth? Failed. Infinite Frontier? Barely a mention, but here's the twist. Tony Fleecs is doing it through a book called Deathstroke The Terminator, and he's not doing it quietly. He's turning it into a Michael Bay film. Soldier-turned-superhuman assassin Slade Wilson has a bounty on his head. An enemy is dismantling his world. And Deathstroke is evolving into his purest, most brutal form, a Terminator driven by revenge. The first issue promises brutal violence and over-the-top action. But here's what nobody's talking about. The secret weapon isn't the violence, it's the guest stars. Deathstroke will be joined by two other assassins, Deadshot from the Suicide Squad, and Deathblow from Wildstorm. Created by Jim Lee in 1994, Deathblow is a Frank Miller-styled psychokinetic super assassin. 3 killers. 3 different worlds, 1 explosive story. Tony Fleecs said when he discovered artist Carmine DiGiandomenico was on board, he switched the entire tone of the book. From an insular think piece to an all-out action blockbuster. And while the story seems steeped in decades of DC continuity, Fleecs insists it's as new reader-friendly as it can be. But here's the part that will blow your mind. This isn't just another crossover. This is a Trojan horse. For years, DC has tried to force Wildstorm into its main universe with big, clumsy events. And every single time it failed. The characters never stuck. The fans rejected it. The history of the DC Universe book gave it barely a bullet point. Now, Tony Fleecs is sneaking them in through the back door. Through a bloody, violent, fan-favorite book about the world's deadliest assassin. He's asking one simple question: how do these super assassins with death or dead in their names fit together? The implications are massive. If this works, if readers embrace Deathblow fighting alongside Deathstroke, it opens the floodgates. The entire Wildstorm universe, characters like Grifter, Midnighter, and Apollo could finally find a permanent home in the DCU. Not through a reboot, but through organic, character-driven storytelling. Some say it's a brilliant strategy. Others say it's a desperate gamble that could backfire. But the real controversy? The timing. Deathstroke The Terminator 1 hits shelves on March 18, 2026, for just $3.99. In a market saturated with events and multiverse crises, this book is betting everything on pure, unadulterated action and a deep-cut character revival. The stakes couldn't be higher. For Tony Fleecs, for DC Comics, and for every Wildstorm fan who's been waiting for a real comeback. But if this integration fails again, what does that say about the future of these legacy characters? Do you think sneaking Wildstorm into the DCU through an action book is a genius move or a recipe for disaster? Drop your take in the comments. Subscribe to Kenya News Update today for more on the stories shaping pop culture.